Alan Becker's Animation Versus universe is amazing, but its timeline can be a bit confusing in some places. So I tried to tackle it making my own full timeline recap video, which led to the fans having interesting discussions, mainly about two parts of the timeline potentially being incorrect, whether I made an error placing a video in the wrong spot in the timeline, or Alan made an error making a timeline anomaly. Do these two specific areas to break the timeline? Well, let's see. Let's start with the first one. First, I need to mention that some of Alan Becker's videos are standalone, while others are back-to-back. Like for example, Animation vs. Minecraft episode 34 is just its own thing. You can watch it and have fun. But some episodes end on a cliffhanger leading to the next episode. This is important information. Now I need to mention that Animation vs. Minecraft, aka AVM, is split into 4 seasons. Thank you to the wiki to making this look nice. But I specifically want to talk about season 1, which consists of 14 episodes, AVM 1 through 14. Now for the first 7 episodes, they are standalone. Obviously the first episode happens before episode 2 and then 3 and then so on, but you can watch one without needing to watch the other. However, episodes 8 through 14 are a different story. They happen back to back to back. One ends off of a cliffhanger, and then the next episode immediately takes place after. Now we get into the timeline error. In the 8th episode, we can't specifically see a date, but in episode 9, Blue and Green travel to a Mac computer, where we see June 27, and we also see that it is a Wednesday. And if we look on Google, in 2018, the 27th of June falls on a Wednesday. Not 2019, not 2017, 2018. And that makes sense. Alan Becker uploaded this in 2018. So that's when AVM 9 takes place. But if we go to AVM 11, for a split second, we actually get to see the date, being January 28, 2019. Now you may be asking, why is this an error? Maybe the episodes happen back to back, but it just takes a really long time. Well, unfortunately, it's not that simple, because we need to talk about Animator vs. Animation, aka AVA, Season 2, which is episodes 5 to 8, 8 being when they fight the Dark Lord. And these all happen on the exact same day, that being September 18, 2018, which means it canonically happens somewhere between AVM 8 through 14. But 8 through 14 is back to back to back, being where the Stick Gang are traveling through Minecraft. There is no time where they go back to Alan's PC and could have this fight with the Dark Lord in between, meaning that AVM 8 through 14 has to either happen before or after the day with the fight with the Dark Lord. And for a while, I put it after the events of AVA Season 2, but then one character changed my mind: Purple. Purple actually appears for the first time in AVM 8, where he's seen at the very end, and then later in AVM 10, he is defeated. Obviously, Purple comes back later in the series, but that's irrelevant right now. But still, this doesn't seem like a big deal, right? If we put this after the Dark Lord fight, that means the Stickmen meet Purple for the first time after the fight. However, one single video makes that not the case, and it's the League of Legends video. Yep, this video right here changes the timeline, and that's because it canonically happens on the same day as the Dark Lord fight. If we look at AVA episode 8 and look at the time, we can see that it says 1:58 p.m. and in the League of Legends video, it's the same date, like I said, taking place at 2:03 p.m. meaning this literally happens right after the fight. My headcanon is that the stick figures are tired of fighting and need a little break, so they do this by watching Alan play some League of Legends. But the point is, in the League of Legends video, Purple appears, and Green and Blue even get like flashbacks of Purple. This is not the Stick Gang's first time meeting Purple. So either AVM 1 through 14, where they first meet Purple, either has to happen in between AVA 8 and the League of Legends video in like literally a split second, which is, you know, impossible, or it has to happen before the day where they fight the Dark Lord. And that's how it is in my full recap video, which is all to say that in AVM episode 11, when it zooms out and we see this date right here of 2019, yeah, that kind of breaks the timeline and is an error, because this is how the timeline of events have to take place. And if you put the dates back, yeah, 2019 is a little bit of an oopsie being right there. Obviously, this doesn't ruin the series, it's a little date error, but you can just ignore it. That was scenario 1, but the second one had a lot more discussion in the comments, and is a bit more tricky. But you know what isn't tricky? Hitting that subscribe button. Okay, but seriously, if you like content about stuff on YouTube, then this channel is the channel for you. Maybe consider subscribing as I talk about Animation Versus, Toon Turf, Shorts Wars, BFDI, and more YouTube stuff. Anyways, on to the next potential timeline error, that being when King Orange's son, Gold, tragically dies to a glitch in Minecraft. You see, in AVM episode 30, it is basically split into 2 parts. The first half is backstory, showing Gold dying, then King Orange crashing out and building the staff, and then meeting Purple, and then the second half of AVM 30 is literally the present day and the continuation of the series. Like when AVM 29 ends, the second half of AVM 30 literally is the continuation of the last episode. I just wanted to show some backstory first, which gives some context. However, in my full timeline recap video, I took that first half of AVM 30 and split it even further, having the beginning where Gold dies be one part, and then the other being when King Orange crashes out makes the staff and then eventually meets Purple. And I took that first part where Gold dies and put it way back into the timeline all the way back in 2014, while the rest happens in around 2021, which had a lot of the fans scratching their head as to why. Why was the first part extremely far away? Well, basically because in the first part with Gold, when Gold is about to enter Minecraft, on one of the developer screens, we see that they're running Minecraft 1.7.10, which is an update that came out on June 26, 2014, meaning that this part had to take place between the date I just said and September 2nd, 2014, which is when 1.8 came out. But after Gold dies, when it cuts to King Orange having a crash out, angry about his son dying, he opens a Minecraft book and we see Netherite. Netherite was first added to Minecraft in 1.16, an update that came out in 2020, meaning that this part took place in likely 2020 or 2021. The date's never really specified, but somewhere around that time. And then, you know, he works in the staff, meets Purple, they go to the Nether, and blah blah blah. And then we cut to the present day, which supposedly happens like a few months or years after that. This is seemingly fine. This confused some of the plans as to why I placed Gold so early, and so I explained it just how I explained to you. But then when the fans point something out, and I might actually be wrong, it's something I completely missed. Basically, before Gold enters Minecraft, when he's looking at some advertisements for the game, he looks at this trailer, and in it we can see the Caves and Cliffs update, which is something that came out in 2021. So was I wrong? Were the developers just running an older version of Minecraft, and this Gold part actually happened in like 2021 and just led to the next scene where King Orange was crashing out? Well, I'm not entirely sure. This part is up in the air. I'm 50-50 on this. On one hand, yeah, it does make sense when King Orange's son dies. This scene right after where King Orange is crashing out and wants to destroy Minecraft, that scene happens right after. And because we see the Caves and Cliffs update, this makes sense that this is happening in 2021. However, the fact that the developers are using 1.7.10 feels like such an intentional detail by Alan and his team. A small detail for lore hunters to find and put the puzzle pieces together. Because this can't be a mistake. Alan had to intentionally go back to an older version of Minecraft and put this here. Not to mention that the posters before they go in are showing literally old textures of Minecraft, making me believe that the advertisement shown to Gold having a newer version of Minecraft was maybe a mistake. So I'm split. Again, it makes sense for Gold to die and then King Orange to go to his house and crash out and then search how to destroy Minecraft. But I can also see there being a 6 to 7 year gap. One where Gold dies and this completely ruins King Orange. He tries to live his life for years, but the pain and torment continue to break him until finally, years later, he crashes out and decides that he has had enough of the pain and wants to finally take revenge and avenge his son. So yeah, I'm split. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Obviously, these two moments that kind of have an iffy timeline break don't destroy Alan's universe. It's still an incredible show and I highly recommend checking it out. But yeah, these were just some interesting observations I thought I'd share. If you like these deep dive videos, subscribe. I've got more in the future. And if you haven't seen the timeline video, well, here it is right now. It's on the screen. You can click it. The video's about to end. It's about to